હેલો એવરીવન, તમે બધા જ તમારા ઘરે એકદમ મજામાં હશો. ટુડે વી આર ગોઈંગ ટુ સ્ટાર્ટ અ ન્યૂ ટોપિક દેટ ઇઝ normal labor. Clinically also it is very important topic, and exam point of view it is very important. Certain short notes or a full question can be asked from this topic. So from today's session we are going to start about this normal labor. First, what is it? Definition. It is the process of expulsion of mature fetus. Mature fetus, when we talk about normal labor, it is presented by vertex. So mature fetus per vagina followed by that of afterbirths, where the parturition is spontaneous, uncomplicated and not delayed. So when per vagina the mature fetus is expelled out, and after the expulsion of the fetus, the afterbirths also expel out. Afterbirths are, you can say, placenta, membranes, all they come out after the birth of the fetus. So expulsion of all these things per vagina is called normal labor, provided the whole process is spontaneous. It occurs or it starts spontaneously. It is uncomplicated, it is without any complication, and also when the process is not delayed. It is called normal labor. Normal labor is also called eutosia. Eu means good, well, normal, and tosia, toko means labor or childbirth. So eutosia means normal labor. It is also called parturition. Eutosia is not that much known term, familiar term, but if you read the book, if you read this topic, you will very frequently come across this term parturition. So parturition is the process of childbirth, and parturient is a woman who is in labor. Parturient is a woman in labor, right? So these are the terms useful to understand this topic. Now, what are the causes of onset of the labor? Why the labor starts, or when the labor starts, or what causes the initiation of the labor? First cause is uterine distension. Whenever the mature fetus is there, the full term pregnancy is there, the uterus is distended because the fetus is fully grown, right? Whenever uterus is distended, how distension of the uterus occurs? Through stretching of uterine wall. So whenever uterine wall stretches, there starts release of prostaglandin F2 alpha. It is one of the groups of naturally occurring fatty acids, and it stimulates uterine contraction, uterine muscle contraction. So whenever there is distension of the uterus, there is release of the prostaglandin F2 alpha, and this will begin the labor, right? If you link this or associate this with the conditions like twins pregnancy, then hydramnios, large fetus, all these conditions, in all these conditions you will find the labor occurs preterm, premature labor occurs. Those conditions will not reach full term. Why? Suppose twins pregnancy, two fetuses are there in the uterus. So distension of uterus starts earlier. It will not occur at full term. Even at 6-7 months, you will find the distension of uterus at a greater extent. Another condition is hydramnios. In hydramnios also, amniotic fluid is more, so the uterus is distended earlier. So this is also result into release of this prostaglandin F2 alpha. So causes the labor. Right? So uterine distension is one of the causes of onset of the labor. Then hormonal effects. These hormones are maternal and fetal. So now let's see which hormones affect or causes the onset of the labor. First is progesterone. You must be knowing that this hormone is important to maintain pregnancy. Progesterone is secreted by placenta. So one of the Important functions of placenta is to secrete progesterone so the pregnancy can continue, pregnancy can be maintained, right? Now along with the progesterone also there is estrogen. Now if you see the pregnancy, during pregnancy, if you see the estrogen progesterone ratio, progesterone is at higher level than estrogen. Because of that, estrogen is at lower level, and because of this, pregnancy is maintained. But whenever there is time for labor, when childbirth is to occur, from the fetal plasma, the cortisol secretion increases. There is increased cortisol level in the fetal plasma. Because of this, progesterone synthesis is inhibited. This increased cortisol level in the fetal plasma inhibits progesterone synthesis. So it stops. Because of this, what happens? Estrogen is continued to synthesize, right? Synthesis of the estrogen doesn't stop. Secretion of only progesterone stops. Because of this, what happens? Estrogen progesterone ratio changes. તમને પ્રેગ્નન્સીમાં જે જોવા મળતું હતું કે ઇસ્ટ્રોજન કરતાં પ્રોજેસ્ટેરોન વધારે હતો, એના કરતાં હવે પ્રોજેસ્ટેરોન સિન્થેસિસ બંધ થાય એટલે પ્રોજેસ્ટેરોન ઇસ્ટ્રોજન કરતાં ઘટી જાય. ઇસ્ટ્રોજન પ્રોજેસ્ટેરોન રેશિયો ચેન્જીસ. Because of this, again prostaglandin F2 alpha is release will occur, and this will lead to onset of the labor, right? So progesterone affects the onset of the labor, or decreasing level of the progesterone causes the labor. Another hormone is estrogen. Estrogen also promotes uterine contraction by releasing the prostaglandin F2 alpha. Next is prostaglandin itself. It is present. Prostaglandin is present in the decidual cells, in the placenta, in the myometrium. In these areas you will find prostaglandin present. Prostaglandin synthesis increases whenever there is rise in estrogen level. These we just discussed. When progesterone synthesis decreases, it stops, estrogen level rises, and this will promote the release of the prostaglandin, right? Another occasion, whenever the estrogen progesterone ratio changes, altered estrogen progesterone ratio balance, at that time also release of this prostaglandin increases. Third occasion, when uterine stretching occurs in late pregnancy. When uterus stretches, it also causes release of the prostaglandin. And whenever there is residual cell damage, at that time also you will find increased release of the prostaglandin, and this will help in the onset of the labor. One more hormone is oxytocin. You know that oxytocin is important to promote uterine contraction, right? So oxytocin causes or promotes uterine contraction. તમને ઘણા બધાને ખબર હશે કે પેશન્ટ જેને ડિલિવરી નોર્મલ જોઈ છે, પેશન્ટ આવે લેબરમાં હોય અને લેબર પ્રોગ્રેસ ના થતું હોય તો ઓક્સિટોસિન પાઇન ચડાવે. સો ઓક્સિટોસિન ઇમ્પ્રૂવ્સ યુટેરાઇન contraction because it has the action on the uterine myometrium, right? So oxytocin increases or promotes labor, or it begins labor. And there is nerve control. The other important cause of onset of labor is nerve control. The uterine myometrium contains postganglionic nerve fibers. They have the alpha and beta adrenergic receptors. These alpha receptors causes uterine contraction and starts labor, right? So uterine distension, hormones, and this nerve control, these are the important causes of onset of the labor. Now we come to the stages of labor. There are 3 stages of labor: first, second, and third. First stage is cervical dilating stage, second stage is expulsive stage, and the third stage is placental stage. In the first stage, cervix dilates completely, like from 1 finger to it is 4 finger dilatation. You can say like this. In the figure towards your left side, you can see the internal and the external os are closed. In the diagram towards your right side, you can see that the cervical os has opened, and so the cervix has completely dilated. So this is the birth passage and through that only the fetus comes out normally per vagina, right? So this is the full cervical dilatation. It is from 1 finger to 4 finger or from 2 centimeter to 10 centimeter dilatation. So this is the complete cervical dilatation. Second stage is expulsive stage. In this stage, the fetal expulsion occurs, and the third stage is placental stage. In that, the placenta comes out following the expulsion of the fetus. In the books, you will also find the fourth stage, that is the stage of the observation. We have discussed in the earlier sessions that after delivery, PPH can occur. Say it may occur after or within first 2 hours of the labor. So in the fourth stage, the patient should be kept under observation to look for development of any such complication, right? So fourth stage is also there, but as usual there are mainly 3 stages: first, second and third. Now the duration of these stages: the first stage in the priming gravida lasts for 10 to 12 hours, and in multipara it will last for 5 to 6 hours. Priming gravida is a woman who is carrying her first pregnancy, and multipara who has already 1 or 2 children. So the duration varies according to the gravida and parietal status of the pregnant woman. Second stage, expulsive stage. This stage lasts for 1 hour in priming gravida and 30 minutes in multipara. And the third stage is placental stage. The duration is same both in priming gravida and multipara, that is 5 minutes. So after the fetal expulsion, the placenta comes out within 5 minutes. This is the usual time. If placenta is not expelled out by 30 minutes, you can call it retained placenta. One of the complications of third stage of labor, right? So these we talked about the stages of labor. We'll talk about labor further in the next session. Thank you.